Hello and welcome back to Seaside Garage. I got one of my dream mopeds. I can't believe my own luck. In a previous video on the Diesella moped, I talked about this model because this has been on my wish list for a lot of years. This is the Moped Moby-X1. It is a folding moped. You can fold down the handlebar and lower down the seat, and then you can carry it around like a very heavy briefcase. It's a bit of a gimmick, but it is possible, and it makes it possible to have this in a small trunk of a car or in my camper van. I'm finished fixing up that, and I really have a dream about parking up somewhere and then in the morning drive this to the local bakery and get some morning bread. That could be nice. I never driven one of these, and I suspect that it is going to be a little bit toy-like. I mentioned that I wanted one of these in the video on the Diesella project, and actually the day after, a very nice man called Sven-Erik wrote me. He asked me if I would like to buy this project, and of course I would love to do that. And now I have one. I can't remember exactly, but it has not been driving for a lot of years. Sven-Erik told me that he got it to run, I think he said around 7 or 8 years ago. Then the carb overflowed, and then he haven't touched it since. So I think we could be lucky that this is going to be an easy project. Everything seems to be there. I got the side skirts lying around, and I even got an extra engine, which is nice. This engine is, as some of you know, not the most reliable one. So far I have been lucky with them, but I think they are a bit fragile. This engine is exactly the same as the green and the red Caddy back there. And I got an extra engine with the spare parts to this, so that's a good thing. But all in all, the condition of this looks very nice. Let me give you a small tour of the bike before getting to work. I just love these small mopeds from the 70s. They're so nice. As you know, I got a lot of Velo Solex 5000s. They are small, but they are not small compared to this one. This is a very, very tiny bike. I think Garelli made some that looks a lot like it. The tire is here, and a hand to scale. It is very small. It is very, very small. The engine looks rather big on this frame because it is the same as the maroon colored one. Apparently it's not called red wine color over there. So yeah, it's a 50 or 49 I think cc engine, which is belt driven by a centrifugal clutch. And look at this on the handlebar. There is a bag with some of the hardware, which is really nice. Thank you for that, Sven-Erik. And a speedometer. Yes, it's going all the way to 60. No, I don't suspect that it's possible. This is supposed to only go to 30 kilometers per hour. Take a look at the mileage on this. States 3,642 kilometers. Whoa. That's... Hopefully it's not been in one go. That's a lot of miles or kilometers on a moped like this. But let's put it up on the lift over there and see if we can make it fire up. That could be nice. Yeah, it's a bit heavy, but it's possible to carry it around. On my previous moped video on the Caddy, I got some constructive criticism from a guy called Carsten, who got a YouTube channel called Dyrs Garage. It's in Swedish, so if you're Danish or Swedish, I would highly suggest that you check his videos out. I think you can even use subtitles if you are not Danish or Swedish. He got a lot of cool projects going on, mopeds and cars. I will leave a link in the description. He wrote on my previous video that I should try not to do so much handheld video because it gets a bit shaky. I think on that video I messed some settings up on my camera, so the stabilizing system was not working proper. So I hope it will be better in this video. Most of it will most likely be on the stand, but when I hold it, I will try to keep it a bit more steady because, yeah, I'm not trying to get anyone seasickness. So, but let's get to work. First thing I would like to do is to check the fuel out. I can already see now that the fuel tank is a clever design. Because this is a folding bike, it could end up lying on the side or something like that. And in this fuel cap is a vent that I can close up. So this fuel tank should be leak-free when no matter which direction the moped is lying. That's a very good thing. Of course, the fuel in the car will overflow if I tip it, but it's only a little bit. So that's a clever thing. I imagine it is, if it works, it would be very important to actually open up the vent when I drive it. Otherwise, the vacuum in the tank will stop the fuel supply going to the car. So that's a thing to remember. This moped really seems to have been kept well inside and in a rather dry environment. I see no real rust issues, and I really hope the tank is the same way. Oh yes, it's completely clean inside. But this fuel tank looks almost completely clean inside. It's perfect. And here we have the fuel cap, and as you can see, we have a vent system right there that needs to be opened for it to deliver fuel. And then of course this gasket needs to be good for it to be fuel or leak free lying on its side. I wonder if there is a fuel valve on this. I actually don't think there is. So maybe this is actually the valve also, and the vacuum itself is going to hold it back. I think so, because there is absolutely no fuel valve on it. It should be at this inlet. Maybe something has been altered, or maybe it doesn't have one. I don't know, but it could be just this that holds it back. I really like the fact that this bike got drum brakes on the front and even on the rear, even though it's so tiny. The tires are not holding air at the moment. But what I think we're going to do just by the description on this bike is to remove the carb and clean it up and make sure that the needle valve is working, because I assume that what happened 7 or 8 years ago is that he told me that the carb started to overflow, and I think that could be because the needle valve was not closing proper. Then it will, by design, just start overflowing. So I think that could be causing it. Let's try to air up the tires and see if they hold air while we fix all the other stuff. If not, then we might have to do something, or we will have to do something about that. They don't take a lot of air. Now we've got 2 bars in them. That should be plentiful. No, we have a leaking front tire. That's the tire off. Oh, we have the speedometer still on. We need to unclip that as well. Oh, this bike is so cool. Like this. Oh, I can see already now that it has been fixed once before. So I'm gonna hope that I can get a new inner tube for this, because I would like to get it to be as reliable as possible, especially in the tire department, because it seems to be a struggle to fix on the roadside at least. There has been a fix right here. I'm just gonna check if I can get one of these locally. No, actually scratch that. I'm not gonna buy a new tube, because my hobby with these mopeds and old cars is not the most environmental friendly thing to do. And that is the only bad thing about my hobby, in my opinion. But there's no reason to make it worse than that. So of course I'm just gonna try to fix the hole It is pretty straightforward to do, and the rubber is really a nice quality, so throwing all that out to buy a new one, it's just not the right thing to do. So I'm gonna fix the leak and reinstall the tire. Bonjour, monsieur. Au revoir. Et voilà. Now let's get going with the carburetor. I would like to take that off and clean it completely before even trying to start it up, because I'm sure there is an issue right there and I would like to fix it. Right there. So let's see what we have here. This is a Gardner carb. It is not known to be a very good one, at least if you read on the forums and stuff like that. And I gotta say, I'm still working on the red one, the Caddy. It's not running right. I'm actually suspecting that something is wrong with the seals on that one, on the engine, as some of you have mentioned. But what I want to take out is the float. In here is a fuel filter. Wow, it's looking really clean, all this. On all Gardner carbs that I have ever worked on, the top screws are always very destroyed. And there we go. This is off. And here we have the float. And some old fuel. Let's try to test it by blowing into this and keeping my hand over this and shutting it off. Yeah, it is working. At least it is shutting the fuel off. But what I do not know yet is that if the float itself is working, because if this is leaking, then the inside will fill up with fuel and then it will drop to the bottom of the housing and therefore not getting up and shutting the fuel off. So that could also be an issue. It looks fine, but we'll have to test it. Let's get the jet out. Everything seems nice. It's just gummed up with old fuel. Let's try to fill this up to get that nasty rubbery fuel out. And it is running to the nozzle down there, so the passage from here to here is also working. That's fine. I'm just going to block it with my finger, because I would like to see if the float floats. It does. Let's try to submerge it to see if it fills up. It doesn't. It seems to be working fine. I'm sure that this is going to work fine. So I'm not going to do more about it. I'm just going to fit it all back together again. How's this supposed to go? Like this, right? Yeah. Like this. Oh yeah. Then I'm going to fit a new fuel line. Oh, the light is working. I'm not sure that fuel is actually getting to the carb because of that way I routed the fuel wire. I'm gonna see if I can do something about that. Something happened. It's tough. Okay, I'm using the drill. This is too hard. I'm getting old. Oh yeah. fired up. But I went in a bit of a panic because the nut span off and I didn't really want to have the clutch flying around. I need to put that back on now. Yep. Seems to be rather aggressive at idle. It seems as though this one is adjusted way out, so maybe it's just held open. So I have taken the carb off once again. Let me show you what I found. As you can see, the wire is not located in the hole in the middle, which I think it is supposed to be. Yeah, it is. Therefore, it was held a lot higher than it was supposed to. So I think we can just put that right there. And now it should be good to go. I'm gonna put it back together and then let's try. Let's see if it helped. Oh yeah. It's working. So with the Moby-X now running, it is time to end this video. But before doing so, I couldn't resist but to put on the side skirts, and it is looking so cool. Take a look at this. The cool and silly is maybe a bit closely related in this instance, but I think it's awesome. There's no decals on this side. I don't know if that's normal, but maybe I can get some. It is really a nice moped. And of course, I also have to demonstrate the party piece of this moped, the folding stuff. Let's try. This needs to be greased. There we go. And then open up this, like so. Like this. There we go. But that's cool. So this will be all for this video. The next video on this moped will be a test drive. I think it should be ready to go now. And yeah, I can't wait to see how it actually rides. But that will have to wait for another day. Thank you for watching. Remember, you can support me on Patreon if you like. You can follow the link in the description and see you in the next one.